Hello friends, welcome back to Joen Academy. In this video, we'll be looking at the fate of the red blood cell and also the functions of red blood cells. But before we do that, I would like us to take a brief look at how the lifespan of red blood cell can be determined. We said in the previous video that the lifespan of red blood cell is 120 days. It can be determined through radioisotope method. In radioisotope method, the red blood cells are tagged with radioactive substances like radioactive iron or chromium. The lifespan of red blood cell is then determined by studying the rate of loss of the radioactive cells from circulation. As for the fate of the red blood cells, when the red blood cells get old, that is, when it reaches about 120 days, their cell membrane becomes more fragile. They become destroyed as they try to pass through blood capillaries, which are of the same size or less in size with that of the red blood cells. Young red blood cells can easily pass through these capillaries as their cell membrane are still strong compared to the old and fragile cell membrane of the old red blood cells. The major site of destruction of red blood cell is the capillaries of red pulp of spleen. Reason for this is due to the small diameter of spleen capillaries. The destroyed red blood cells are fragmented and hemoglobin is released from the fragmented parts. Hemoglobin is immediately phagocytized by macrophages of the body, particularly the macrophages which are present in the liver, spleen and bone marrow. The macrophages present in the liver are known as the Kupffer cells. The released hemoglobin is degraded into iron, globin and porphyrin. The released iron is retained in the body in form of ferritin. Ferritin is formed by the combination of the released iron with body protein known as apoferritin. As for the released globin, it enters into the protein depot in the body for later use. The porphyrin, on the other hand, is degraded into bilirubin, which is excreted by the liver through bile. That is why the skin and eyes of an individual that is affected with hepatitis is usually yellow in coloration. This is because the liver has lost its ability to perform its action of bilirubin excretion. Daily 10% of red blood cells that are old are destroyed in normal young healthy adults. This will cause the release of about 0.6 gram per dl of hemoglobin into the plasma. About 0.9 to 1.5 milligram per dl of bilirubin is formed. Let's look at the functions of the red blood cells. The primary function of the red blood cell is to transport respiratory gases, which are oxygen and carbon dioxide. Hemoglobin plays a huge role in the transport of oxygen from the lungs to the tissues. It combines with oxygen to form oxyhemoglobin. About 97% of oxygen is transported in the blood in the form of oxyhemoglobin. The red blood cell also transports carbon dioxide from body tissues to the lungs for excretion. It does this through the help of hemoglobin. The hemoglobin combines with carbon dioxide to form carbohemoglobin. About 30% of carbon dioxide is transported in this form. Red blood cell also contain large amount of carbonic anhydrase. Carbonic anhydrase is important for the formation of bicarbonate from water and carbon dioxide. Because of this, it is also important in the transportation of carbon dioxide in form of bicarbonate from tissues to lungs. About 63% of carbon dioxide is transported in this form. The hemoglobin in the red blood cell functions as a good buffer. Buffer is a solution of reserved acidity or alkalinity which resists the change of pH upon the addition of a small amount of acid or alkali. Red blood cells play an important role in blood group determination. They carry blood group antigens like antigen A, antigen B, and rhesus factor. The determination of blood groups helps in prevention of agglutination due to incompatible blood transfusion. I hope we enjoyed ourselves. Thank you so much for your time. Please like, share and subscribe. Your comment is extremely important in this channel. See you in the next video. God got you.